Okay, and we're back. And we're back. As I was saying, they didn't have balance back then because they couldn't have balance back then. How can you balance being a whole human being? Like, I mean, when I say a whole human being that was put on this earth, and you have no rights. Think about that, fellas. A lot of women, especially in other countries, when the father had a daughter, he treated her as second-class citizen. We see that all the time. Now we're in a position to have balance. We just have to be willing to do so. Women need men like men need women. The difference is you'll never hear a man say he don't need a woman, but you will hear a woman say she don't need a man. That's a huge difference. So when you understand those parts, you want to be able to have your own. You want to be able to take care of you, because I've taught you a woman who wants for nothing gets everything. If you're not in my All Things Feminine Social Club app, make sure you join the app. I have a whole teaching on a woman who wants for nothing gets everything. Just because you have accomplished some things, it does not mean that you lead with that. Because the very men women would come to me for, the type, I'm like, sis, they don't care about that. They don't care about how much money you have and you're educated. That you did that for you and for your grandmama. What you were taught forced you into that. So are we living our parents' dream? Think about that. Have we manifested the life that they wish they could have had, but we're still not happy? Think about that. Nothing wrong with education. Nothing at all. Don't ever get it twisted. I believe that you should be educated in whichever way, shape, form, or fashion that works for you. But at the same time, as women, we don't derive our value from that. So my mom always told me not to be dependent on a man because she was dependent on my father. I took it to heart and not understanding that I was still supposed to wear a skirt. There we have it. You can be uber successful. You can be uber successful and still be a girl. You know, you can still have all of that and still be a girl. But I believe that we went overboard with making sure women were self-sufficient, that they left their femininity behind. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I love flowers too. Like my house is very serene. It's a very peaceful. I have a very peaceful vibe in here. It's very peaceful and serene in here. I keep it this way on purpose, because I like peace. I had to do a lot of counseling just to trust my husband, not because he was a bad man, but because it was drilled into me that men ain't shit. That's what I'm talking about. I love the fact that you went to therapy for that, because what they don't teach us is this. When we get to know ourselves, we learn how to pick better people. So why would I marry a man that I cannot trust? I can't trust his words. I can't trust his leadership. I can't trust anything. So why do I want a man in my life if I can't trust? If a man's supposed to also come along and help and make your life easier. See, what keeps so many women from operating in their femininity is everything that we carry that a man is supposed to carry. A man is supposed to make your life easier. So if I'm choosing someone, shouldn't I be choosing them from a perspective of making my life easier in addition to all of the other wonderful things that he brings? I'm just saying. Think about that. So it goes back to the book, Identity Switch. And when I did the TED Talk, I said so many of us are living our mama's fears, our daddy's failures, and our grandma's something else. So we're carrying things that do not belong to us. Thank you guys so much for the badges. I appreciate you. So if a man isn't making your life easier, what's the purpose? Fellas, I'm going to say this to you, and I really want you to hear me. I'm going to come close, fellas. I want you to hear me on this one. I really do. I really do. Listen to me. Listen. Come close. Come close, fellas. If a woman is not an asset to your life, she shouldn't have access to the D. Say that again. If a woman, if you're an intentional man now this is an intentional man. This ain't a man that's out here dating. Somebody saying vice versa, right? Oh my God, y'all kill me with the vice versa. We ain't talking about women in the moment. Let me have this conversation with the men. Certain things what's understood shouldn't need to be explained. But I'm talking to the fellas right now. A woman should not have access to the D if she's not an asset to your life. Have a standard for your PP. Have a standard. See, when you start having a standard for your PP, it will change how you move and the type of women that you deal with. She shouldn't get the D if she get, child, please. Why? Why? There's nothing sexier than a man who has discipline. Everybody can't have access to him. A man with power is knowing what he can have but choosing not to have it. That is sexy. That is so sexy. Knowing that he has a standard for who he lays down with. But this requires doing inner work. Yes, men aren't taught to respect their bodies. Everybody shouldn't have access just because you can. It'll uncloud, and it'll also show you the difference between a feminine woman and a feminine acting woman. I'm just saying. Discipline is sexy. It's like, ooh. Ooh. Okay. I like that. Respect your body. Because there's certain things that you want from a woman, a particular type of woman, but women of a certain standard, they can tell. I agree, April, with most men about keeping score. We're not talking about most men. We're talking about a man that's operating at a higher level of himself. We're not talking about the ones that y'all talking about. And also, we're talking about more of an intentional man. An intentional man, a man with a standard, even if he's a quality casual guy and wants to keep it casual, but he's quality, he still has a standard. I'll stick with my abstinence. You know, well, you go right ahead. But to me, abstinence is abstinence and outside of religious reasons, abstinence and being celibate is not a flex, in my opinion. It's not, unless it's for religious reasons. Because I meet so many women that say, I'm abstaining and I'm this. Well, because ain't nobody checking for you. Nobody's checking for you that you want. You haven't put yourself out there. So it's easy to say, I'm going to abstain or I'm going to be celibate with somebody that you want. When there's nobody that you want checking for you. That's easy. You're celibate and abstinent by default. Talk to me when Marcus and Keith and Jonathan and William or Chris or Kenneth show up. And he's everything that you've ever wanted. And he treats you as such. Holla at me then. Holla at me then. It's easy to say that. Very. But when ain't nobody checking for you, hell, I am every woman, doggone it. I am every woman. Hear me roar. I got this. I am keeping my cookies to my damn self. And I am on the top of the world. But all of a sudden, Michael done walked in the room. And Michael is everything that I've ever wanted in my life. He show up. He's consistent. His efforts, his patterns, his action, his words all line up. He don't just check on me, but he check on my well-being. He Uber Eats me because he want to make sure that I didn't eat. He don't ask me how I feel today, how my day went. He asked me how I feel today. He can hear my voice when something is off. He can feel when something is off with me. Holla at me then. He want to make sure everything with you is okay. He checks on you via text throughout the day. Hey, babe, I'm just checking on you. You good? Did you eat? He show up. Y'all got a date. He show up. And he looking good and he's smelling good. He's a gentleman. He opens doors, getting in and out of the car and going into the restaurant. He treats you like a lady in all shape, forms, of fashion. And he's ready. And he showed up as a ready man. He knows what he wants. Holla at me then. She said Michael could get every inch of it. I'm just saying, it's easy to have these conversations. Here's the thing, even with what I teach you, it's easy for you to say, you know what, Miss April, I read every one of your books and you got over 100 courses and I've taken every one of your courses. And I appreciate that. But you won't know if it's working until you actually open yourself up. You won't know. Because everything that you've learned, you know, I'm strong. I got this. Miss April done taught me this, and I done took other courses from other coaches, and I am equipped. I got on my armor, and I done everything. And then here comes this wonderful, wonderful woman. She's everything that you've ever asked for in a woman. She's beautiful. She's kind. She's caring. She's agreeable. She has her own opinion, but she's a pretty agreeable woman because she chose you, because you make proper decisions, so she doesn't have a lot to disagree with you on. She trusts your leadership. She thinks you're amazing. She can see herself with you. She can see who you can be from where you are to where, you know, her feminine essence can take you. Now this woman is coming to your life. and you've read everything Miss April has said. You got you some coaches. You got your some other mentors. And this woman shows up. And it triggers you. She triggers you. Although you're equipped, you got on they got on a whole armor of God. And you done did everything. I done healed, Miss April. I done sat through it. And I done got over my daddy issues and my mama issues and my abandonment and my rejection and my not feeling good enough and growing up back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. Miss April, I done did all I needed to do. And she shows up. Hey. This is this artist named Devin Morrison. Sidebar, I just became aware of him. Y'all know I like this kind of groove. Y'all go check him out. As a man, take her and figure it out. You know what, Deuce? Let me tell you something. That's exactly what my son-in-law finally admitted to. He said, after he'd married my daughter, he said, Miss April, I ain't even gonna tell you online. I was not where I needed to be when I met your daughter. I had already started therapy because he had been in his relationship for 15 years, he had been married. He said, so I wasn't ready, but when she showed up, she was different and I couldn't let her walk. So I did what I needed to do to secure her, but I wasn't ready, but I figured it out. But a lot of times, I see men who get afraid of that woman. She's not asking him for anything. She just likes being in his company. She likes his presence. She likes his presence. She likes that his presence makes her feel safe. She just likes being around him. She feels as though the weight of the world is off of her shoulders when she's just in his presence. So it allows her to flow in her femininity, something that he's not used to. So he's wired with all of these rebuttals, okay, if she don't text me back, she playing games and it means this. So he's wired with all of these things. But what he's experiencing from this woman is simply because he's being that masculine force with his presence. But he's not used to that. So he doesn't know what to do with that. So a lot of times, fellas, y'all run. Because it's new. So think about that. You can take as many classes, run around, talk about how celibate and abstinent and all that stuff you are. How will you show up when someone who wants you as is, no changing, no losing no weight today, no doing any of the things that you feel aren't good enough or makes you worthy to have somebody that treats you well? They like you just the way you are because it's the inner work that you've done. Well, how are you going to show up? How? Fellas, can you handle a woman actually loving you? Can you handle a woman seeing you for who you are? Not the facade that you try to put up, but she sees you and she still chooses you. Can you stay or will you walk? We see so many men, so many women that will accept men as is. We've been accepting men at their lowest for a very long time. But when you're not comfortable with you, it's you who run away. Women have been holding men down for a very long time. It's just now that women are throwing in the towel. Because we have loved you, we have rolled with you, we have stood on the front lines for you, we have lied for you, we have capped for you. all for you to not see yourself as someone that's deserving of that and to walk away. So then it makes women say, what the hell am I doing? Let me go somewhere else. Or let me not even deal with you. So it's not that women haven't held you down. Let's look at the civil rights movement. Women, it was more women on the front lines than men. Do your research. Not only were women on the front lines, but they were in the kitchen making sure that you had bagged lunches, making sure when you got beat up by the cops and by the water hose and all of the other things and bitten by the dogs, we were there being with your first aid kits. But what I found doing my research over all of these years is that men don't feel valued, and it's not because of us. It's because of the patriarchal system that was put in place before you that said that your value came from how much money you made. So then women start valuing you as that. We loved you, but y'all told us what to value you on. So now times are changing and men want to be seen for more than just a bag. Then lead with something other than the bag. We still gonna look for the bag. I ain't even gonna lie to you, okay? Cheers. We still want some coins because we still need to be taken care of. Our femininity flourishes when we're provided for. It's just what it is. Put it like this so men can understand. You know how in the morning or throughout the day you'll get a woody and you don't even know why? It's just a part of your nature. It's a part of a woman's nature to let her guard down when she's protected, provided for, seen, and heard. It's the exact same thing. It's just in a different way. It's just in a different way. Now, the level of provision is different for every woman. And despite what we hear on Jay-Z's internet, every woman isn't looking for a six-figure man. You know, all of these young girls, 20 years old and early 30s, talking about I need a six-figure man. You might as well go get you an old man, a man in his 40s or 50s, because these men in that age range aren't making six figures, but it doesn't mean they're not great providers and protectors. So you do have to provide, and you shouldn't want a woman to ride or die with you. You should want her to live with you. A woman shouldn't have to prove her loyalty to you by how down dirt in the gutter you gonna get. Like, we don't even want to think of you that way. We understand things happen, but when you're dealing with a feminine woman, if you hit rock bottom, it ain't gonna be but for a few minutes, because she's a creative force. Hold on now, 34 and in the six figure. Then I'm not talking about you. But most men don't make six figures. You're a part of the small percentage of men that are making six figures. As a whole, most men, especially black men, do not make six figures, but it doesn't make him a bad man. What do you think of a man in his 40s that doesn't make six figures? It doesn't matter. Because when a man with ambition, women got to understand. When you're at a particular place in life, say for instance, you're a 45-year-old man and you're making, let's say, $50,000 a year. You're a hardworking man, and you don't know all of the potential that's within you. You haven't been exposed, but you're a great guy. It doesn't mean that he can't make more money. What you need to be looking for is the man that's content and complaining about what he's making and not trying to do nothing about it. That's a different mindset of man. But a man who's making $40,000, $50,000 a year, and he just happened to be 40 years old, but he didn't know his potential of what he had, you come along in your feminine essence, and all of a sudden, just y'all's conversation, not even about money, not even about career, but your conversation and what you're being in his presence inspires him to say, you know what? I've been thinking about, starting this lawn care service because, they say I'm good with the lawnmower. And you say, oh, And you encourage that. And next thing you know, one day he gets a text from you and say, hey, listen, I found this ebook on how to start a lawn care service. I thought you would enjoy it. That's support. That's holding somebody down. That's support. Because now I put something that was normally not in front of you in front of you. I put a different perspective in front of you. And not only did I do that, I just showed you that I'm invested in what you're trying to do. Your son-in-law said that about your daughter. He started making more money. Yeah, that's what he told me too. He ain't trying to go nowhere. Women give men inspiration and motivation. But women got to understand who she is. Women got to understand who she is as a woman first. A woman does. When we understand who we are as women and what we carry, and at that point, we learn how to vet properly. And you can see a man who's an amazing man, but he might be at like $60,000 a year. You'd be like, oh no, my lifestyle, he got to at least match my lifestyle. Well, while you're dating him, you will find out if he has the drive and ambition to do more. Because guess what? When you're operating in the feminine, he's going to automatically be attached to that. That's what you want him to be attached to. You want him to be attached to the feminine woman that you are, not your ability to make money. That's the added bonus. Your job is to sit back and vet and watch how he moves. Stop looking at what you can get and just observe. Just observe. Because a man does not feel, regardless of what they say, men should feel as though they're bringing something financial to the table, regardless of if a woman makes all the money or not. Nah, that ain't gonna fly with a lot of men. So you got to understand from the beginning, especially if you're single, you are in the perfect place because you're able to tap into that feminine side of who you are. You're able to find out what it is that you need. You don't just look for a man that is making millions of dollars like that. You look at the man that has he's already operating in his gift and his talent. And here you come and sprinkle your feminine dust on it and boom. And then that's the man that wants to give you the world. You don't build with him. You support him. You amplify what he already is. But femininity does that. What if men just want to chill, not date you, just invite you over? That's on you. Should you move forward? I don't know. Do you want to just be somebody's chill girl and invite? And if that's what you want to be, then that's on you. This is where having self-love standards and value comes in. Knowing what you want. If you don't want to just be the chill girl, why would you move forward? Love yourself enough to say thank you, but no thank you. Because all you're going to do is get your feelings hurt. But you can't be confident and stand in that unless you're confident within you. If that's the stage of life that you're in, there's nothing wrong with that. See, we got to stop acting like everybody wants a relationship. For years, I didn't want a relationship. I just wanted to date and have fun. Although I was teaching exactly what I'm teaching now. I put what I was teaching on the shelf until I was ready for it. But you have to understand where you are in your life. Everybody is not wanting to be in a relationship. So if that's not what you want, I don't see nothing wrong with hanging out and chilling at the house and watching movies. Everybody doesn't want a relationship. When you decide that that's what you want, then yes, when you get intentional. But I have no problem with men dating multiple women that he's not trying to be lock them any of them in. I have no problem with that. Because as long as he's honest, and long as you as a woman don't look at, well, he treats me well. He's a quality casual guy. He's going to treat you nice. He's going to be a gentleman. But he still said he didn't want a relationship. So it's on you to be in control of your own feelings. Or if you want a relationship, just don't date that guy. I don't think women understand how much power that they have because they live in a lack. Like, oh my God, there's only one good man coming, in a lifetime. That's not true. If you want to chill, Netflix and chill, is that part of your life? Go ahead. Have fun. Date multiple people. That doesn't mean you're having sex with them. You can go out with 4, 5 people, different people in a week. You're just dating and collecting data. But the moment that you decide you want something different, yes, you have to switch that energy. But everybody isn't wanting a relationship. And we have to be okay with that. I hear people all the time and say, well, you teach what you teach, but why didn't you get married? Because I didn't want to. Didn't mean that I didn't have a line full of suitors. I just didn't want to. I was taking care of kids from the time I was 18. I needed some free time. I needed some me time. I didn't want to go right back into, being responsible for somebody. I became an empty nester at 43. I needed to learn me and what I wanted before I was going to try to be back in the house with somebody else. I just got rid of 3 children. I wasn't trying to get in no relationship. I was trying to figure out, okay, so what it was like dating 5 and 6 different men at a time. Enjoying them doting all over me. Being adored. Being catered to. Because when you have children early, you're the one that's responsible for everybody else. I didn't want to get married right away. Once them kids left the house, child, I had a ball. And if you were in my dating academy, you knew about quite a few of my, y'all got a lot of my tea. I probably was one of the only dating coaches during that time I had my academy that was telling y'all my dating tea. They got some tea. And I was the one with the good tea. I'm like, I need y'all to get some good tea. So yeah, everybody wasn't ready to get married. Although the information is there and it works, you use the information when you're ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. I needed to be free. Imagine, I had 1 child at 18 and 3 by the time I was 23. So I needed some time to figure out what April wanted. Figure out the mother didn't need what she needed for when she had the kids at home. Imagine being a mama that long and it was all been you. You have been married, you have been divorced, and you have been in a relationship, long-term relationship, and you just wanted to be free. You just wanted to be, you didn't want to just jump right into anything. And you had quality suitors too, but you honored yourself and said, let me see what it feels like living this other side of my life in my 40s. Because I didn't get the college experience. I didn't get to have that fun on the front end. I didn't get to do that. So when people would always question, yeah, you do all this, but you're not married. Yeah, because I didn't want to. Never question, never ever think that it can't happen tonight. Because when you operate in the feminine, for real, at your core, and not just a feminine look, but femininity, spirituality, and sensuality, and you have wisdom. Women today are lacking wisdom. That's one of the biggest things that women are lacking. Even the Bible calls wisdom her. God calls wisdom her, and it's for a reason. Mother Nature is a her for a reason. Women today lack wisdom like it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. But they got the look though. They got the hair did and the eyelashes and all of that. They know what that looks like, but they lack wisdom. Wisdom, ladies, wisdom mixed with your femininity, your spirituality, and your sensuality is your toolbox. Wisdom is her for a reason. We carry wisdom. We are the first teachers. But think about it. Today, women don't have it. What kind of wisdom? Wisdom is wisdom. Women carry wisdom. We are the first teachers. Was it Malcolm X that said a nation can't rise higher than its women? Because we are the wisdom. But women don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have it. Women don't understand the power that they have. It's wisdom is key. Knowing how to move, knowing when to move, knowing when you're vetting a man if he's broken, but yet he's doing his work to be better. So you decide to give him a chance versus, oh no, he broken, and walking away. Knowing how, when a man is not trying to improve himself, when to leave. That's why there's a lot of stuff that I would love to teach, but I can't. And my son-in-law said that. He said, Ms. April, a lot of the stuff that you know, the reason why you can't teach it is because you're speaking from a more of a wise place. So it's wisdom. So if people are lacking wisdom, it's hard to impart into them when the base level of wisdom is not there for them to build upon. It's hard. Because then you get questions like, if a man tells you one thing and he's doing another, do you stay? When you are so in tune with your femininity and your spirituality, I'm telling you, ladies, that's your GPS. That's the thing that says, yeah, I do make $120,000 a year and he makes $60,000, but I love the way that I feel when I'm with him. And I see that he works hard, but he does talk to me about wanting to start another job, or he talks to me about wanting to open a business. He does talk to me about those things. So that means wisdom says, just because he doesn't have it today doesn't mean he won't be there. Because I see him moving toward it on his own. I see him elevating in small steps, but he has it in him. So now what I'm going to do is be that feminine inspiration. I'm not going to do anything for him, but my feminine presence is going to inspire him, is going to motivate him, is going to bring him companionship, is going to breed the peace. And when I say peace, that doesn't mean I'm agreeable with everything. It is going to make him feel as though he is seen, that he's appreciated. Those traits, the softness, the gentleness, the ability to have discernment, the ability to give wise counsel, the ability to hear what's not being said, the ability to know when and when not to, those are the things that's going to inspire an already motivated and driven man to go get the bag. But y'all be trying to be those things to men you haven't vetted to see if they already have it in them to evolve into their next level. So the problem is when I hear women say, I did this and I did that, a lot of times is, number one, they don't have their own. So you trusted a man in his building process and you have not solidified yourself. And sometimes we will see a man get the woman that is at his level where he is. And when he's a bronze penny, and when he becomes a shiny quarter, he leaves her because that's not what he wanted in the first place. And a lot of times that happened because you held him down, and did not become a woman who wanted for nothing and got everything. That's a different woman. That's a completely different woman. So then you get burnt. And then what do men do? Well, I didn't ask you to give me that. And actually, they don't. We do it. We do it because we are women that are givers like that. We want to see you win. But we don't know when and who to do that for. We just want to help you. We want to see you win. We want to see you make it grow. We want him to be it, honey. And so we abandoned ourselves for the possibility of what could be versus just being and standing in your feminine essence and just being the feminine inspiration, and then not giving at that level because he's not in a position to give anything back to you. Think about that. And they never ask. We just do. And then when we just do, what happens? When we get our feelings hurt. I did this for you. I did that for you. I did this for you. But he never asked. He never asked. He appreciates you. But he never asked. So it's up to you to have boundaries. Because we see people as, oh my God, you could be this, you could be that. And we can see. But just because they have a dream don't mean they're going to wake up and live it. Learn how to sit back and observe. You give to a man your feminine essence, being that feminine woman. It has nothing to do with anything that you're doing. It's everything that you're being. He is the person that does that. My presence should inspire you to want more. My presence should inspire you. When you leave me, you should be able to see the possibilities when you leave my presence. And not because we had a conversation about business or how amazing you would be at doing X, Y, and Z. But just the essence of being that woman. This is where women miss it and why they be on the internet and on YouTube and on Instagram and Facebook having those dumbass conversations about men. Like, that's why you guys don't see me on panels. I get asked to be on panels all the time. And 99.9% of the time, I say no. Somebody said, what does her presence look like? Her presence doesn't look like anything. Her presence is felt. It's how she makes a person feel. You should feel me. It's not a look. It's a feeling. Femininity is all about feeling, going inward and be able to feel. A man should feel something when he leaves you. He should crave you when he leaves you. But these are the things that they have these conversations on these panels, which is why I'll be like, no, I ain't doing that. Nope. Because I probably could not take it and probably say, you know what, I'm going to walk off the panel because I can't. These same low-level conversations, these same old podcast interviews and YouTube videos and Instagram videos, it's the same stuff with the same people rotating the same garbage. No, I ain't gonna put me into that. We are not doing that. It's just saturated with just people who have never experienced a healthy relationship, people who have never did their healing work. You know, people who are teaching femininity is a look, long hair, makeup, and all of these other external things. Child, do not put me in that cesspool. It's a cesspool out here between what's being taught, what real femininity is and what real masculinity is. Yeah, no growth. You got all of these goofy ass podcaster dudes, I call them clowns, had no power in the world, never was the guy that had the girl. Now he has a microphone and he's garnered an audience of the same lame dudes as him. So now he has power, but the moment he turns off that internet, he's nobody. He's back to being nobody. You're like, goodness. So you have to be very careful, because the majority of messages that I've seen, or the things that you guys tag me in on femininity, it's not femininity at all. This whole soft life thing is, people are making soft life and femininity the same, and it's not. Anybody can live a soft life, but it takes work to reclaim your femininity. It's like, go away. Just go. Y'all just go play. And so many of you your whole life is on the internet. But just say, I'm from Cali. That description was from West Coast. Yeah, West Coast people, we just be a vibe. We just be laid back. We don't be a part of the old okie though. We we be popping collars and laid back. And it's like, ain't nobody getting into this foolishness. Let's go ride down PCH. Let's go ride over the Golden Gate. Nobody want to hear that. We don't have time for that. It's like, I will say this, and I've heard this before. Bay Area people are some of the realest people, and we are. We are some of the most realest, laid back, well, it is what it is type of folks. We'll love on you though, but you gonna catch this realness. We off somewhere, but I wanted to share this message with you today. Because I just believe that what you want you, and you have